Hello, people! Thanks for joining me. I'm Scotty D, and this is a Gibson ES-355 from 1979 Kalamazoo. This was towards the end of the Kalamazoo production. Anyways, it's a beast. This thing's kind of heavy. And it's got that crazy Varitone switch, you know. A lot of people are a little confused about how this works and the electronics inside. And the good news today is that it doesn't work. Something went wrong. We're going to have to open it up and maybe pull out some of the electronics, which isn't fun because the pots have these big shields around them. They're like the size of apples, man. They're the most gigantic things you've ever seen. And there's no room to really jam all this stuff into such a small space. So it could be that one of the wires got kinked and is one of the hot leads is touching a ground part on the switch, or the other way around, it's not being grounded properly. So hopefully it's something easy. Let's start looking at it. These guitars have stereo outputs, you know. Man, this thing's dusty. But yeah, so when you're in stereo mode with this baby, one of the sides of the stereo will be the neck pickup, and the other side goes to the bridge pickup. So you can have an amp on one side of the stage that has the sound of that one, and on the other side of the stage you can have that one. But I think it originally was designed because they came out with an amp at the same time, and it was a tremolo or a chorus or something like that, and it had two speakers that angled out like it was a wedged shaped cabinet, and the speakers kind of were angled, you know, outward a different way from each other, and you could get this like super cool sound, I guess, out of that amp in this guitar. So remember, I worked on the B.B. King Lucille last year, and it had a stereo jack over here on this side. It had two different plugs, one for mono and one for stereo. But this one's actually been changed to mono, he told me. So it no longer operates in stereo. Let's look at the tag. Kalamazoo! You can barely read it, but it says ES-355TD. T, meaning it's thin, the body is thin, and D means it has a double cutaway. These cutaways. Ebony board, pearl block inlays, gold hardware. We got the long lyre tailpiece, maestro. All good, but only thing that's bad are the size of these pots. And there's a special inductor underneath this pickup that allows the Varitone to work. A lot of people call it a choke, but it's giant. All this stuff adds up to a lot of extra weight. Man, this thing weighs like 10 plus pounds. And here's the back side. Pretty good shape for a 1979. This was Norland era Gibson, Michigan production. Maple neck, maple body, lots of maple. Got the old volute here. Made in the USA. Kalamazoo, Michigan. Put together by Michigan Wolverines and Spartans and fans of the Silver Bullet Band. I know I am. So this could be the simplest repair of all time, of the week maybe, or the most torturous, involved electronics repair in the history of all of mankind. Let's see what's going on under the hood. I wonder if we could stick like a mirror inside and see if there's a wire that's crossed. Let's see what's going on. Okay, So what I did is I pulled the bridge pickup and found the loose ground wire. I think it broke. Anyways, I attached this alligator clip wire to the screw down there to ground it out. That sends the inductor or choke to ground. And then I took my string on a stick and I placed it right on top of the bridge, or the neck pickup, and put it through the amp and rotated the Varitone switch to see that that was the problem. So I diagnosed it with this device, which I can thank Evan Gluck for. Evan Gluck is from the famous New York guitar repair, and he calls this string on a stick. I call it my one-string dulcimer. I made it out of a piece of MDF and a tuner. A little tuner. It's a B string. It's all I'll ever need. So I'm gonna get out the soldering iron and solder this wire to the inductor, the choke, and put it back together. Oh, that should solve the problem. It looks like it was an easy one today. Got a little bit of low-tack tape here to protect the lacquer, and I've got a bath towel over here. I'm gonna get a little bit of fresh solder here. Oh, and by the way, we Americans realize that you pronounce it differently in other countries, but it doesn't mean we have to change the way we say it. You know, we're not going to start saying aluminum because that's the way you say aluminum. So just accept that people have accents. If you leave a shitty comment on my channel, you will be banned from my channel. You know what this might need? Okay, this is a fiberglass scratch pen. I'm going to scratch this up and try to clean off all this wax. This is dirty. Oh my goodness. Look at that. That got dirty real quick. This is a water-based cleaner called Simple Green. We'll see how much of this dirt is soluble in water. Oh yeah. Try cleaning that off again. Try a little acetone or some naphtha. A little acetone. And it keeps coming up. Wow. That's dirty. See if we can get this to stick now. Yeah. And I know you guys probably wanted to see me be tortured and have to pull all these pots out of the control cavity today, but or out of the pickup hole. But since we didn't, I've got another Varitone guitar over here. We're gonna analyze the circuit on the other guitar.
since this one is just too difficult to pull all the stuff out just for showing you the Varitone situation. That seems to be stuck okay. So here, what we got here, this is the neck pickup. This is with the Varitone switch in neutral, not engaged. Here's position 2, a slight cut in like a high mid frequency. 3, cut further up in the frequency range. Here 4 is starting to sound a little more quacky. 5, even more nasal. And then 6 is pure funky. Yeah, it gets quieter as you pass through the 6 different switch settings. It gets quieter and quieter because the amp we're listening to it is a real mid-range focused amp. Now let's look at it on the Blues Hawk, because the Blues Hawk has a cavity control cover. Here's my beautiful Blues Hawk. Same amp settings. A little more simple, it only has 2 knobs. 3-way. Now this one's cool because at any point you can bypass the Varitone by pulling up on the tone. Very versatile sounding guitar. Let's look at the other side. It's actually called a control cavity cover. I don't know what I said earlier. Cavity control. I'm thinking about brushing my teeth. Okay, so we've got the rotary switch, the 3-way switch, which is kind of like a super switch because it has 2 rows. We've got the push-pull pot for the tone and the regular resistor, variable resistor standard pot for the volume. The dummy coil is here, and there's the choke or the inductor. So what is it? What is a choke? It's an inductor. What is an inductor? It's like a magnetic field that holds voltage, kind of like a guitar pickup is a sort of an inductor. So this is just a dummy coil. It doesn't have magnets, it just has a coil of wire, which is supposed to maybe keep some hum canceling going on. You can see the copper wire through that last hole right there. But that's the extent of it. It's a little complicated there. But the Varitone switch is really, it's just a rotary switch. You know, they're pretty common actually in cars, rotary switches. And this is more of a blade switch, they call it. Push-pull pot and a regular 500k ohm variable resistor potentiometer. Alright, let's listen to both of these. We'll make some music. Alright, so here it is in the middle. Kind of reminds me of like Albert King. So yeah, some people just live right here in the middle positions. Guys that have Varitone switches on their guitars. Let's hear that old Blues Hawk. so this Blues Hawk is a 1999, whereas the ES-355 is a 1979. This baby's 20 years younger. And I love it. If you guys are interested in one of these, it's one of the best values you can find out there, Gibson-wise, because a lot of people don't know about them. They're so cool, I gotta tell you why. They're, you know, stringed through the body like a Telecaster. They've got the 25.5 scale length, just like a Telecaster. Hardtail bridge, just like a Telecaster. Adjustable saddles. 2 single coil pickups. I mean, the Varitone. Hollow body, light as a feather, but long scale. Unusual, like a Gibson usually doesn't have a long scale. The J200s have a long scale, but most of them do not. Anyways, guys, I appreciate you hanging around, tuning in today. It's always good to have you here. We'll see you next week. Catch you later.